Does this sound familiar to you? You head in the gym, you load up the weight, you lay on the bench, you start pushing, week by week, month after month, but something feels off. The weight might be not moving as you want to, your shoulder might hurt, your chest doesn't grow, and somehow the guy next to you who looks 50 kilos lighter than you is pressing much more weight than you with ease. And the funny thing is, it might not be your strength that's holding you back, it might be the small mistakes that you don't realize you're making every single set, every single rep. In this video, we're going to go over the 5 most common technique mistakes athletes do in the bench press that kill your strength, limit muscle growth, and increase your risk of injury. But before we go into the video, make sure you like and subscribe because it helps our channel grow and we can put out more content for you guys. So let's get into the video. Mistake number 1. No arch. As you have seen on the internet many times, arching on the bench press gets a lot of hate on the internet because people tend to think that arching is somehow cheating and because it limits your range of motion. But in reality, arching is essential for bench pressing because it helps you build a more stable base to push from, and it keeps you more stable and safe, and it's one of those essential skills that really unlock your strength on the bench press because you're not wasting energy. But how do you actually increase your arch on the bench press, and how do you set up in order for the best setup possible? The first thing you have to do is to learn that you have to set up on your upper traps and neck. And the mistake most athletes make is that they just lie on their back, and this does not help you get some thoracic extension to get that beautiful arch you see in the videos. And the first thing to fix is to start building your setup on your upper traps and back of neck. And you can do that during the setup by depressing your scapula and bringing your chin to your chest and keeping the chest high. And this will free up space in your upper back area so that you can push your neck flat into the bench and get some more extension. And of course, the second part of building an arch is leg drive. Leg drive is one of those things that's usually misunderstood and athletes don't know how to do it efficiently. What you have to think about is that you want to push yourself back on the bench. You want to push yourself to fly through the back of the bench. And this, if you are training on a good bench with enough friction, will help you have resistance and build your arch in the opposite direction you are pushing. Meaning you are pushing yourself back and your body is pushing back because of friction, and that helps you build that tension and make your arch bigger. A common mistake athletes do for the leg drive is that they push too much through the heels and not through the toes, and this causes also the butt to lift off the bench. But what you have to focus on is to put your feet in such a way that you can push through the toes, like a leg extension pushing away from you, and this will push you back on the bench and build your arch. Common mistake number 2 is also dependent on leg drive, but a common mistake I see mostly in beginners and casual gym goers is having happy feet during the bench press. You might have seen it before that you're starting to bench press and your feet start to dance around. That's one of those mistakes that makes you lose tightness. It doesn't help you at all. And what you have to focus on is that your feet are stable from the beginning of your set until the end. So even before the bar leaves the rack, your feet have to be in a stable position and you have to be able to push through them to build tension through the whole set. And wiggling the feet around is a sign that you're not doing that. So how you can actually fix it is pretty simple. You have to find a position where your ankle mobility and hip mobility allows. Usually we want to aim for heels behind the knees. If you look at it from the side, you don't want to pull the feet too far back, but you don't want to have them too flat. You want to find a sweet spot where you feel comfortable and you can push through the toes effectively while having contact with the heels on the floor. And then from there, you want to plant your feet, you want to start pushing and not move them around during your lift off, during your reps, or while putting the bar back. Wiggling the feet usually means that you're not holding any tension in your legs and the position your feet are in is not comfortable for you. So make sure that you play around and find a position that's comfortable for you. You can try wider, you can try closer. What's important is that you don't move your feet around and that you can push and keep your feet stable without moving them around. Mistake number 3. The third mistake I see athletes do is that they let their chest collapse. And also it happens with athletes that know how to set up their arch, but they lose their setup during the lift off or during their sets. What you want to do is you want to learn how to breathe into your chest and keep air in your chest. First of all, because it will help you expand your chest and the weight will not push you in when you are posing at the chest, but also it will help you build more tension and keep that chest high and not let it collapse, meaning your shoulders will roll forward and your elbows will flare out, and then you won't have a good position to push from because your forearms are not vertical to the floor. Emptying the chest is also combined with not setting up correctly on your back, but also not actively thinking about keeping the chest high during your lift off, during your reps, and during the rack. What you want to aim for, you want to retract your shoulders slightly, depress them, keep your chin to the chest, and you want to keep your chest high and keep the air in your chest while you unrack. And you can do that by pulling the bar out, not pushing it. You want to pull it against the hooks, slightly push it out, and then keep pulling until you come into the starting position with the chest high in order to keep the chest full and keep the chest up so you don't lose your shoulder position during the beginning of your set and your setup. When you lower the bar to the chest, you want to try to touch the chest to the bar, and you want to touch the bar to the chest. This will also help you activate your lats a little bit more and be a little bit more stable. And when you're at the chest, you want to keep the chest high, don't let it collapse. And when you're pushing, you want to also push your chest out even more so that your shoulders don't roll forward and you flare out and you lose your power. So it's really important to focus on keeping the chest high through the whole set and not letting it collapse, because even though you have the most perfect setup in the world, you will lose it if you let your shoulders roll out. Mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is also a misconception casual gym goers have, and that's that you have to keep your wrist straight. If you have your wrist straight during the bench press, you're also risking to get injured because the bar does not rest on your palm and it rests only on your thumb, and it's very easy for the bar to slip out of your hand and land on your chest. What we want to aim for is that we internally rotate the hand when setting up and having the pressure on this part of your palm, which is also the strongest point in your hand for you to push from because it's supported by the forearm and the elbow. And when you're at the position of the chest, everything is stuck, your wrist, your forearm and your elbows, so that you can push with power of the chest. You want to keep your wrist slightly bent back and also slightly rotated in while having the pressure here on the meaty part of your palm. How much internally rotated it depends on your grip width, and you have to play around. What's important you pay attention to is you want to push the meaty part of your palm into the bar and grip the bar tightly so that you have that punching power you can put into your bench press. And finally, the 5th common mistake athletes do in the technique for the bench press is having the wrong bar path when pressing. All these things that we have talked about up until now play a role in the bar path, because if you have your setup correctly, it's most probably going to help out with your bar path too. What you want to aim for the bar path is that when you're going down to the bar from the starting position where the shoulder, elbow, and wrist and bar are stacked on top of each other in a vertical line, what you want to aim for is that you start going down in a slight diagonal angle. And when you're at the chest and it's time to start pressing, you want to press up and back. You don't want to press up and away from you, because this will also make it much harder for your front delts and your triceps, but it will also increase your risk of injury because you might lose your balance and the bar might fall on you when you're bench pressing. And what you want to aim for is to start pressing up and back and land back into the starting position where the shoulder, elbow, wrist and bar are in a straight line, and this will ensure that you have the strongest press possible. Common mistake athletes do is that if you see it from the side, the bar path on the way down or on the way up, it might look like a zigzag line, or you might be pressing away from you and not back into the starting position. So pay attention to that when you're bench pressing, and if you're doing it wrong, make sure you have your setup correct, and then you actively aim to push the chest to the bar, pull the bar to the chest, and bring the bar down in a slight diagonal line, put out the chest, and when you're pressing up, you want to press up and back and not up and away from you. These are the 5 most common mistakes for the bench press. If you want the full tutorial on the bench press, you can check this video right here. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments.